Something shocking happened in a school cafeteria that day. Hundreds of children watched in complete silence as a teacher screamed at a little girl. No one knew that the quiet man standing near the door was the last person she should have embarrassed. Because within minutes, the entire school administration would rush into the room. And the teacher would realize she had just humiliated the daughter of the man who funded the entire school. But the most heartbreaking part of this story wasn't the confrontation. It was what the little girl whispered to her father before he said a single word. And that moment changed everything. Before we continue, I'm curious about something. Which country are you watching this story from? Write it in the comments section below. I always enjoy seeing how far these stories travel around the world. Now let me tell you what really happened that afternoon. He only wanted to surprise his daughter. Nothing grand, nothing dramatic. Just a small moment. A quick lunch together at school, a smile, maybe even a photo to remember the day. For once, he didn't want to arrive like a billionaire. That morning he parked his car 2 blocks away from the school. No driver, no security, no expensive suit. Just a simple coat and casual clothes. Today he wanted to be a father, not a powerful man. The school building looked peaceful. Children's laughter echoed through the halls. Lockers slammed, backpacks bounced across shoulders. And the smell of warm food drifted from the cafeteria. He checked his watch. 12:18 p.m. Perfect timing. His daughter's lunch period had just started. He imagined her reaction when she saw him. She would probably run across the room with that big smile she had since she was little. The thought made him smile as he pushed open the cafeteria doors. But the moment he stepped inside, something felt wrong. The room was too quiet. Hundreds of children were sitting at tables, but no one was talking. Instead, every single pair of eyes was focused on one corner of the cafeteria. Then he heard the voice. Loud, sharp, cruel. How many times do I have to tell you that you don't sit here? He froze. The voice belonged to a teacher. Children shifted nervously in their seats. Some stared down at their trays, pretending not to notice. Others watched with uncomfortable curiosity. And then he saw her. His daughter. She was standing beside a table, holding a tray with trembling hands. The tray shook so badly that the soup inside the bowl rippled across the surface. Her head was lowered and her shoulders looked small and tense. The teacher stepped closer. Too close. Look at me when I'm speaking to you, the teacher snapped. His daughter slowly lifted her eyes. They were already filled with tears. I'm sorry, she whispered softly. I didn't mean to. Didn't mean to. The teacher interrupted loudly. She pointed toward the floor. You cause problems every single day. The cafeteria remained silent. A boy nearby laughed nervously. Another student secretly lifted his phone and started recording. The father felt something hot rising inside his chest, but he didn't move yet. He watched. Sometimes the worst moments reveal themselves if you wait just one more second. The teacher leaned closer to the girl, her voice dropping into a cold whisper. You think playing the victim will help you? The girl quickly shook her head. No. I just wanted to sit with my friend. Well, you're not sitting there, the teacher snapped. She pointed toward a lonely table near the wall. You sit there. The girl nodded quickly and tried to move, but her hands were shaking too much. The tray slipped from her fingers. It crashed onto the floor with a loud bang. Soup splashed across the tiles. The entire cafeteria gasped. The teacher's face turned red with anger. That's it, she shouted. You are the most disrespectful child in this school. The girl froze. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Children stared. No one spoke. And that was the moment the father finally moved. Slowly, calmly, he walked forward. Each step echoed across the silent cafeteria floor. Then he spoke. His voice was quiet, but it cut through the room like a blade. Stop. The teacher turned around. Excuse-me? She said sharply. Who are you? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked to his daughter and knelt beside her. He gently took her trembling hands. You did nothing wrong, he said softly. Her eyes widened. Dad? A wave of whispers spread across the cafeteria. The teacher folded her arms. This is a school matter, she said coldly. You shouldn't interfere. He slowly stood up and faced her. You're screaming at a child, he said calmly. In front of hundreds of students. She's difficult, the teacher snapped. And you are crossing a line, he replied quietly. The teacher scoffed. Oh, really? And who exactly do you think you are? For a moment he said nothing. Then he reached into his pocket and took out his phone. Van Kool. That was all. 30 seconds later, the cafeteria doors opened. 3 men walked inside. The school principal, the district inspector, and the chairman of the school board. Their faces were pale. Very pale. The entire room fell silent. The teacher looked confused. What is happening? The father finally spoke. My name is Daniel Hartman. He paused for a moment. I'm the primary donor who funded the renovation of this school. The principal swallowed nervously. And I'm also, he continued, placing a gentle hand on his daughter's shoulder, the father of the girl you just humiliated. The teacher's face lost all color. Students began whispering across the room. The father looked directly at the principal. We're not discussing this later, he said firmly. We're discussing it now. He took off his coat and wrapped it around his daughter's shoulders. You're going home today, he told her gently, and tomorrow, things will change. He took her hand and walked toward the door. Behind them remained a cafeteria full of witnesses. Children who had just learned something important. You can shout at a child when you think no one important is listening. But you should never assume their father isn't standing right behind you. Because respect should never depend on power. And dignity should never be optional. Before you leave, tell me again in the comments, which country are you watching from? I always love seeing how far these stories travel. And if you enjoy emotional stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe for more.